What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2026 Mercedes-Benz E350, courtesy of Mercedes-Benz of Hagerstown in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so today we're in this one because I can tell you off the bat, this is some amazing interior quality, typical Mercedes fashion there. Very elegant design as well. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. So there's essentially two different configurations for the E350. You got the rear wheel drive setup starting at $63,900, which by the way is a $1,450 bump from the 2025 model year. Then you got the 4MATIC all-wheel drive starting at $66,400. But regardless of the configuration that you go with, the power plant on the E350 is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a mild hybrid system that puts out 255 horsepower at 5,800 RPM. 295 pound-feet of torque coming in at 2,000 RPM. That power is sent to rear wheels or all wheels through a 9-speed automatic with paddle shifters, which of course you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. But 0 to 60 time approximately 6.1 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 24 in the city, 33 on the highway. That's pretty good, taking premium unleaded fuel. And so before we do any kind of fun paddle shifter or acceleration test here in the E350, I do want to mention to you guys the drive modes. It's labeled dynamic. That stands for dynamic select, typical Mercedes fashion there. Drive modes are going to include eco, comfort, sport, and individual, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and the all-wheel drive system engagement then as well. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the acceleration and paddle shifters here to the test. I want to see how quickly the paddle shifters are going to react for us here, and of course let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, found our straightaway, got it in manual shift mode and sport driving mode in 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. All right, that's fun. That's plenty of an acceleration emerging onto the highway. Like, this thing is, it's pretty darn quick. And the other cool thing is that's a legit manual shift mode. Like, it's not shifting for me, it's telling me to shift, but it didn't actually shift for me there in sport driving mode. So that was kind of cool too. Not only that, the paddle shifters, they were okay. They're not like AMG good, like super quick, but they are really, really high quality. Like, these almost feel like genuine aluminum paddle shifters, although I think they're just like a heavy duty plastic covered in like silver maybe. I could be wrong there, but they feel very heavy duty. I like the feel of them, and they're decent. Plenty of an acceleration, like I said. So I'm a big fan of that whole setup so far. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 12.7-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.8-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 6-0 stopping distance goes, it comes in at 102 feet. As far as braking feel goes here, it's nice. It's a little bit on the softer side of things. It's more of a luxurious like braking feel as opposed to like a sports car. So I'll say that, more of an S-Class type braking feel. So I don't have a problem with it. And quite honestly, the 102-foot number, that's just about as good as you can get, quite honestly. So the brakes, 100% on point on the E350. But then touching on suspension and handling, you will find an independent front and rear suspension, of course, gas pressurized shock absorbers as well, but you also get an adaptive damping suspension. That's always one I always like to recommend if it's available, and this one, it just comes standard, so that's great. Essentially what that does is it monitors each shock absorber individually, not only adjusting to the road imperfections, giving you a smoother ride, but it also tightens up that suspension during heavy cornering on the back roads, giving you better handling as well. So it really does give you the best of both worlds. But the most noticeable difference that you can tell with adaptive damping suspensions is the ride quality. It's such a super smooth ride. If you compare the same car, one having with the adaptive damping suspension versus one without, it's a noticeable difference. That's the one I always notice, at least. So it's an incredible ride quality when you have that adaptive damping suspension. But Mercedes goes above and beyond that, of course, because there is an optional airmatic package. If you wanted that, that goes for $3,200. That's going to give you an air suspension and also 4.5-degree rear axle steering up to 37 miles per hour. So that's kind of cool for a little bit of turning radius too. But when you combine those two elements, you have the very best ride quality in existence. Whenever you have an adaptive damping suspension and an air suspension, you can't get any better than that. So if you're looking for ride quality, you got it available here for this thing. But overall, as far as ride quality goes in our short little test drive here today, let me get out of sport driving mode here. It's been perfectly fine in my short little test drive. Like, this is a very, very comfortable ride without a doubt. But anyways, that touching on the steering feel, it does adjust depending upon the drive mode that you put it in. So if you want a heavier feel, go with the sport driving mode. If you wanted a little looser of a feel, go with the comfort. Either way, even in this comfort driving mode, this sun is destroying me today. Even in this comfort driving mode, it's still kind of leaning on the heavier side of things, which I personally love. It instantly points you in the direction that you want to go, so no issues with that. Cabin noise, it's been 100% perfectly serene as I'm pulling over to the side of the road here, so definitely no issues with that either. That touching on rear visibility, because of the shape of the E-Class, you 100% should not have any issues. Just looking at my rear view mirror here, I can see perfectly fine there. In addition to that, rain sensing windshield wipers do come standard on the E350. And lastly, if you wanted a head-up display, that's available with the Pinnacle trim. That gives you a bunch of different stuff, but Pinnacle trim goes for $3,400, and that's going to display your speed limit, and safety features up on your windshield, assisting with forward visibility there as well. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2026 Mercedes-Benz E350. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Mercedes-Benz E350, finished in polar white, in case you were curious of our exterior color name. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter W, indicating that the E350 is built and assembled in Germany, as it should be. But starting up front, as the wind picks up, of course, LED headlights with LED daytime running lights do come standard. Get the automatic feature with those. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. Got a diamond block front grille, front and center, of course. Illuminated front grille goes for $400 if you were interested in that option. Then to the bottom corners there, you got some front air curtains helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination for a little better aerodynamics there then as well. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of the E-Class. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, you're either going to get chrome or gloss black window surrounds, flush door handles as well. Right now they are tucked into the car. I think that is so cool. A little bit of aerodynamics there for that reason as well. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they're body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They're going to be heated with LED integrated turn signals, and they are power folding actually as well. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, 18-inch alloys do come standard. However, in typical Mercedes fashion, there are so many different wheel options available, including 19-inch, 20-inch, and 21-inch designs, and AMG specific wheels for the AMG line package, of course, as well. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of this one, starting up top, there is no shark fin antenna whatsoever. I think that is such a clean look. I love that Mercedes-Benz does that. Also wanted to mention there is a rear spoiler. It's kind of a lip spoiler. You guys can see that. That looks pretty darn good. LED Mercedes-Benz star taillights. I love that design element. I think they started that last year. I could be wrong, but also LED license plate lighting underneath as well. Didn't want to forget to mention that. The thing that I would probably change back here though is the exhaust outlets, and so makes it look like there's dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips integrated into the rear bumper. However, they're actually filled in with plastic. The real exhaust is found underneath. They are dual exhaust outlets, but they are tucked away. Would have been cooler if they were integrated into the rear bumper, but nonetheless, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the E-Class, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, it's actually a hands-free power trunk. Yes, that does come standard. That is pretty cool. There is a button on the key fob, of course. There's a rubberized button on the trunk itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 19 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course, the rear seats do fold down. There's actually a button in the cargo area to fold the rear seats down, so that made that a little bit easier. A little bit of net storage back there. You get chrome-plated tie-down anchors. There's plenty of grocery bag hooks. There's a grocery bag hook on each side in the cargo area, and then there's this cool little fold down grocery bag hook from the top then as well. So a lot going on there. Also LED cargo lighting back there. You don't always get the LED, so I wanted to emphasize that. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, there's actually a decent amount of deep in-floor storage back there. So a lot of times you just get a little bit of in-floor storage. So that was definitely nice to see as well. But then making your way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 35.8 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seats there. Rear center armrest with a phone and cup holders coming standard. It's a little bit tricky, so I'm going to show this to you guys. First time you press it in, it's going to be just the phone holder, but then if you press it in just slightly and then let it come back out, that's going to be the cup holder. So it's a little tricky how that works. I don't know why it was designed that way, but interesting. Rear ventilation does come standard, rear USB charging ports as well, and then if you wanted heated rear seats, that goes for an additional $500. But then make your way up to the front seats. MB Tex upholstery, aka leatherette, coming standard. Leather seating for $1,620, then Napa leather seating for $2,990. And of course the seats are power adjustable, they are heated. You get memory settings for up to 3 different drivers and passengers. Yes, that's for the passenger side as well. I always like that. Ventilated front seats go for $450. Multi-contour front seats with the massage function go for $2,950. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, they were okay. They weren't bad. They're a little stiff, but heated seats definitely worked plenty fine. It is colder out today, so I had those on, so I did like that. Seat kinetics were a little funky. I tried playing around with that. Wasn't exactly what I was looking for, so I just went back to the manual adjustments, but they were okay. I do like the vertical seams as well. It eliminates the awkward pressure points, so they got that job done. But then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is going to be wrapped in a Napa leather actually, so that's nice. It is heated, definitely have that on, and it is power adjustable then as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys this very heavy duty key here. It has a nice weight to it. Got the lock button all the way to the top. That is going to be the Mercedes-Benz logo. Unlock just below that, and then the button to pop the power trunk. But it is all keyless entry with the push button start, so all I'm going to do here is simply pump my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located kind of just underneath the gauge cluster there. And speaking of, when it comes to the gauge cluster, what you are looking at is a 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster. Now, the best part about this gauge cluster is there's a little home button found on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. If you press that, you can actually adjust the look of the gauges up there. So there's a sport cluster, there's a classic one, there's navigation setup if you'd rather display that up there, and a couple other pieces of information as well. But the one that they're missing is the understated look that they previously had. I thought that was the best personally, because you could adjust the colors of everything up there as well, but it looks like they did away with that. But anyways, you got sport and classic and navigation. That's essentially what you're left with, which look fine. I just wish that that understated was back, because I always put it on that one whenever I drove this thing. But still gives you everything you need up there, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. There's your outside temperature, trip A, trip B, basically everything you need, like I said. So anyways, let's go ahead and check out the overall interior quality. You're looking at a dual pane panoramic sunroof, so rear passengers have their own personal sunroof back there. Fade to off interior lighting, I always like mentioning that with Mercedes-Benz as well. Frameless rear view mirror with home light controls for up to 3 different garage doors, I like that. Leatherette door trim inserts, that also comes standard. You get a wireless phone charger that's located just in front of the cup holders here in the middle. Dual zone climate control does come standard. There is a M-Bucks super screen package. I wanted to mention that because that goes for $1,500, and that gives the passenger their own kind of infotainment screen on their side as well. And that actually includes a selfie and video camera. So what I'm thinking is Mercedes-Benz probably designed that for women to do their makeup, maybe? I don't know. I could be dead wrong there, but it just seems like that kind of makes sense. But anyways, you also have aluminum speaker covers. They're very high-end looking as well. And like I said, tons of different finishes to the interior trim you could pick. There's genuine wood trim like we have with us here today. There's like that Mercedes-Benz star logo I see all the time. That's also an option. So there's a bunch of different options. You can really customize this one and make it your own. And the ambient lighting, I forgot to mention that. I'm surprised. 64 colors of ambient lighting, and it is so freakishly bright. They do ambient lighting better than anybody else out there right now, so I absolutely always love that. But anyways, let's now go ahead and take a look at the infotainment screen. This is a massive 14.4 inch touchscreen display. You get Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You check out your driving statistics up there. There's factory navigation system. That's definitely nice as well. Of course, you can check out your ambient lighting settings. There's the seat kinetic settings up there as well. and your radio information. So this is going to be fun. So you get a 17 speaker Burmester sound system that comes standard, surround sound system with 730 watts. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. I feel like we need a Gregorian chant channel for Sirius XM, but that was pretty good. The interesting thing was there's definitely a subwoofer in this seat specifically, because there's a ton of bass coming into my back right there. I could feel it, and it was kind of cool because it was kind of like, it was pulsating to the beat, of course. So I know there's a subwoofer in this seat. That's kind of interesting. You don't get to experience that too often, but kind of odd thing about that though is I feel like the seat kinetics were constantly adjusting because of the bass. Because you know, if I like press back on the seat kinetics kind of adjust the seat back, and now it's adjusting my thigh extensions as well. It's just, the seat kinetics are just weird, man. I would probably turn that off, and now it's coming back up. I can't get used to that, but the sound system, absolutely incredible. Crystal clear, ton of bass. Definitely worked out very well. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the E-Class in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming stated across the board. Got that panoramic view monitor there to the left as well, giving you that bird's eye view, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so let me start by saying the E350 is an IIHS top safety pick, so heck of a start right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard. Forward collision mitigation, parking sensors, active brake assist, autonomous emergency braking, blind spot assistant as well. Then there's also a driver assistance package that goes for $1,950. That gives you adaptive cruise control, active lane keep assist, steering assist, traffic sign assist, active brake assist, and emergency stop assist then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the E-Class, first off, the sound system is amazing. I absolutely love the sound system of this thing. The interior quality, absolutely amazing as well, although there is one thing I would change with the interior quality. I'll get to that in a second. Ambient lighting is absolutely amazing as well. You cannot beat Mercedes-Benz ambient lighting. So I'll give you three things there, but now let me give you three constructive criticisms. When it comes back to that interior quality here, there's this little black plastic piece just underneath of the gauge cluster. I would have loved to have had that finished in the wood trim that is finished absolutely everywhere else. It's like just in the middle, they stopped the wood trim and they put this cheap black, matte black plastic. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look on par with the rest of the car. The rest of it looks great. And you got this piece of plastic there. Anyways, secondly, safety should be standard. So one of the things I mentioned to you guys was the driver assistance package goes for $2,000. That gives you very basic stuff that even a base Corolla would give you, like adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist. Like that kind of stuff. It's pretty basic these days if you look on any of the regular brands that even aren't luxury, like Toyota and Honda and Kia and Hyundai. Like they all give you that safety stuff coming standard, but you got to pay for it with Mercedes-Benz. And to be fair, you got to pay for it with BMW as well, but still, safety should be standard, especially on a luxury automaker. And then lastly, not that there was anything wrong with this engine configuration. It was plenty quick for sure, but I'm still more of a naturally aspirated guy. I think a naturally aspirated V6 option, maybe an option, non-turbocharged, would do pretty darn good in this vehicle. I could be wrong, but that's just personally what I would go with. I would choose a naturally aspirated V6 over a turbocharged 4-cylinder with a mild hybrid system any day of the week, although you're gonna get better miles per gallon with this one, I'll give you that. But let me know what you guys would actually pick on that in the comment section below. I'm always reading your comments, but that pretty much rounds out this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media stuff. If you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button. If you're into new car reviews, that is what I've been doing for 11 years now. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.